So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. This passage reveals much more than a simple account of creation. It is a powerful declaration of God's love for each creature. Notice how God not only creates but also blesses. He does not just form, but encourages multiplication. Each animal has a purpose, a divine mission that goes beyond limited human understanding. The divine blessing was not a casual or secondary act, it was a deliberate act of love, care, and purpose. Even before the creation of humanity, God was already demonstrating His concern for every living being. The waters were already teeming with life, the skies were already inhabited by winged creatures, and the seas already housed an incredible diversity of life. The chosen ones understand this truth in a special way. While many see animals as mere insignificant beings, you can perceive the divine essence in each creature. They are not just animals, they are messengers. They are signs, manifestations of God's love. God looked at each creature and declared that it was good, not just useful, not just functional, but truly good. Each animal carries within it the mark of divine perfection, a reflection of the Creator's creativity and love. From the tiny ant to the majestic whale, each being has a special place in the divine plan. For the chosen ones, animals are much more than mere creatures. They are windows to the divine, bridges between the material world and the spiritual. When you look into the eyes of an animal, you do not see just a living being, you see a special creation, a being that carries within it the essence of God's love. Many of the chosen report almost supernatural experiences in their connection with animals. These are moments of communication that go beyond words, beyond physical barriers, a connection that touches the soul, revealing deep truths about creation and the Creator. This bond is not an accident, it is a special calling. Just as God blessed the animals in the beginning, He continues to bless those who understand the true value of each creature. The chosen ones are like guardians of an ancient truth, interpreters of a language that few can comprehend. Think of animals as living books, each telling a story of creation, love, and purpose. The birds that sing silent praises, the animals that maintain the balance of nature, the sea creatures that inhabit the vast oceans, all have a special role in the divine plan. For the chosen ones, caring for an animal is not just an act of compassion, it is an act of worship. It is recognizing the value of each creation, understanding that every living being carries within it a divine purpose. When you care for an animal, you are actually honoring God's original plan. You are being an instrument of love and restoration. The original blessing remains alive. It continues to manifest through those who have eyes to see, hearts to feel, and sensitivity to understand God's love in its purest and simplest form. Animals are not just part of creation, they are messengers of a deeper truth, living signs of divine love that transcends all human understanding. When the world was heading towards destruction, God chose a man to be the guardian of life. Noah was not a random choice, but a divine instrument to preserve creation in a moment of total devastation. The story of the Ark is not just a historical account, but a prophetic model of the mission of the chosen ones throughout the ages. In Genesis 6 verse 9, we find one of the most powerful accounts of preservation in history. God looked at the earth and saw the corruption, the wickedness that had spread, but in the midst of the chaos, there was a man, Noah, a righteous man, blameless, who walked faithfully with God. And it was to him that an extraordinary mission was entrusted, to save life. The divine instruction was precise and challenging. Noah was to build a gigantic ark, not just for himself, but to preserve the life of all species. It was not a calling to save only his family, but to ensure the continuity of creation. Each animal, each species, had a purpose, had value in the eyes of God. Imagine the responsibility. Noah was not a modern biologist. He had no advanced technology. He had only faith, obedience, and a divine mission. He was to collect pairs of every animal species, from the smallest insects to the largest mammals. Each creature had its place, its importance in God's preservation plan. The chosen ones today understand this mission in a profound way. Just like Noah, many feel an almost inexplicable calling to protect life. It is not just a love for animals, it is a divine responsibility, a calling to be a guardian of creation in times of destruction. Notice the details of Noah's mission. God did not say, "Save only the useful animals." There was no distinction. Every species, every creature had value, from the majestic lion to the smallest insect. All had a place in the ark. This reveals God's infinite love for all his creation. The ark was not just a means of survival, it was a symbol of hope, of preservation, of new beginnings. Each animal represented the possibility of restoration, of starting anew. Noah was not just saving physical lives, he was safeguarding God's original plan for creation. For the chosen ones today, this mission remains alive. You are the modern builders of arks, not with wood and tools, but with compassion, with love, with a dedication that goes beyond common understanding. When you rescue an abandoned animal, when you protect an endangered species, you are fulfilling Noah's original calling. The mission of preservation is not easy. Noah was mocked, misunderstood. He built an ark on dry land, preparing for a flood that no one believed would come. The chosen ones today face similar challenges. They are misunderstood often. Ridiculed for their love and dedication to creation, but just like Noah, you have an inner certainty, a conviction that comes from God. It is not just a feeling, but a divine calling. Every rescued animal, every protected species, is a testimony of God's love. It is a declaration that life matters, that every creature has a purpose. Noah's story teaches us that preservation is an act of faith. It does not depend on human understanding, but on divine obedience. When the world around seems to be falling apart, the chosen ones continue to build their arks, continue to protect life, continue to be instruments of restoration. God created life and did not establish rigid boundaries between creatures. There is a divine thread that connects all living beings, a spiritual essence that transcends common human understanding. The breath of life is not just a biological concept, but a sublime manifestation of God's love and creative power. In Genesis 7 verse 15, we find a profound revelation. So they went to Noah, to the ark, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. This passage shows us that the breath of life is not an exclusive privilege of human beings. Each creature carries within it a divine spark, a mystery that few can truly comprehend. The term breath of life goes far beyond a simple biological process. It is a spiritual connection that links all creatures to their Creator. Each animal, each living being, carries within itself an essence that reflects God's creative power. They are not just functional organisms, but living expressions of divine love. This understanding leads us to a deeper comprehension of creation. We are not superior to other living beings, but part of an intricate and wonderful divine plan. Each creature has its role, its importance, and its unique mission in the grand project of creation. The chosen ones understand this truth in a special way. While many see animals as mere beings without depth, you can perceive the soul that inhabits each creature. It is not madness, it is a special sensitivity, a divine gift to understand life in its purest and most essential form. Think of the complexity of each living being. A bird is not just a collection of feathers and bones, it is a being with personality, with emotions, with a unique connection to the universe. An ant is not just an insect, it is a creature with an impressive collective intelligence, with a mission that goes beyond human understanding. Modern science is beginning to discover what the chosen ones have always felt. Research reveals surprising levels of animal intelligence, complex emotional capacities, and sophisticated communication systems. But for the chosen ones, this is not new. It is merely the confirmation of something they have always felt deep within. This spiritual connection manifests in surprising ways. Many of the chosen report almost supernatural experiences in their relationship with animals. These are moments of communication that transcend words, gestures, and physical barriers, a communication that touches the soul, revealing deep truths about creation and the Creator. The Bible shows us that God breathed the breath of life into all creatures. It was not a casual or limited act, it was a deliberate act of love, of creation, of purpose. Each living being carries within itself a divine mark, an essence that connects it directly to its Creator. For the chosen ones, animals are much more than mere creatures. They are messengers, carriers of a wisdom that goes beyond human understanding. When you look into the eyes of an animal, you do not see just a biological being, you see a special creation, a being that carries within it the essence of God's love. This connection transcends physical and mental barriers. There are countless accounts of animals demonstrating extraordinary levels of compassion, emotional intelligence, and spiritual connection. Dogs that comfort people in moments of sadness, dolphins that protect humans from danger, animals that develop deep emotional bonds that defy all scientific explanation. The chosen ones feel this connection in an almost inexplicable way. It is as if there were a secret language, a silent dialogue that connects all creatures. It is not a connection based on words, but on a deep spiritual understanding, a fine-tuning with God's original plan for creation. Creation, this sensitivity is not an accident. It is a divine mark, a special calling for those who can see beyond the obvious. When you care for an animal, you are not just caring for a physical being, you are honoring the breath of life that God breathed into His creation. You are being an instrument of love, of restoration, of divine connection. Life is not limited to what our eyes can see. There is a spiritual dimension that connects all living beings. The chosen ones are those who can perceive this dimension, who feel the divine presence in each creature, who understand that each living being is a testimony of God's infinite love. The mission to protect creation is not a secondary calling, but a fundamental purpose for God's chosen ones. In Proverbs 12 verse 10, we find a powerful revelation. The righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel. This passage is not just a recommendation, but a profound statement about divine character and spiritual responsibility. From the beginning, God established a unique relationship between humanity and creation. It was not a casual act, but a deliberate calling to be a guardian, protector, and caretaker of all life that pulses in the universe. The chosen ones understand that this mission goes far beyond a simple act of compassion. It is a divine vocation, a sacred calling to preserve and protect every form of life. The responsibility is not limited to a specific group or a restricted area. Each chosen one carries within them a special mark, a unique sensitivity that sets them apart from others. While many see nature as a resource to be exploited, you see it as a sacred gift, a living testimony of God's love. This mission manifests in multiple ways, each as important as the other. For some, it means rescuing abandoned animals from the streets, giving a new chance at life to forgotten creatures. For others, it represents tirelessly fighting for the preservation of endangered species, defending biodiversity against human destruction. There are those who dedicate their lives to protecting fragile ecosystems, meticulously caring for nature in all its forms. The Bible repeatedly presents us with the importance of caring for creation, from Genesis, when God entrusts humanity with the mission to cultivate and keep the garden, to the prophetic teachings that highlight the harmony of creation. Cruelty is not just an act, but a reflection of a heart distant from God. The chosen ones are called to be different, to be light in a world often marked by destruction and indifference. Each chosen one has their own journey, their own specific calling. Some are veterinarians who heal injured animals, others are researchers studying endangered species. There are those who work in sanctuaries, those who develop conservation projects, those who educate people about the value of life in all its forms. The mission of protection manifests at various levels. Decision, bringing an inexplicable peace. Other times, it is an unusual behavior that serves as a warning or guidance. There are accounts of animals that seem to understand deep emotional moments, offering comfort in times of pain or distress. Animals carry a wisdom that transcends human understanding. They possess a connection to the divine that few can truly comprehend. While human beings get lost in complexities, animals maintain a simplicity that connects them directly with God's original purpose. For the chosen ones, each animal is a potential messenger. They are not just biological beings, but bearers of divine revelations. A bird that unexpectedly appears, a dog that barks at a specific moment, a cat that behaves unusually, all can be a message from God.